what you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
Brothers in Tech is a weekly podcast focused on personal and home technology, helping provide you, our fellow brothers and sisters in tech, with some information, assistance, and recommendations. It's time for the Brothers in Tech Suggestions episode again, or the BITS as we like to call it. This is where each of the Brothers in Tech and our special guest all bring a recommendation to the table. Could be an app, could be a website, could be a gadget, something we want to share with the audience, talk about, and recommend for others. It's the Brothers in Tech Recommendations episode coming up right now. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Brothers in Tech here on the Mesh.tv podcast network. My name is Alan Jackson. I am one of two brothers in the title of the show, Brothers in Tech. And what do you know? The other one is also on the show too. Brian Jackson, my brother, the other brother in tech. It's really coincidence how that all worked out. So, Brian, how you doing?
Your intros keep getting better and better, just in terms
really?
of.
I feel like they're getting worse and worse.
Well, I was actually kidding when I said they were getting better. Really? Yeah. I mean, you really nailed it in a long time ago with this, didn't you? I mean, yeah.
I'm really running out of ways to set up the show and to let everybody know my name and your name and the fact that we're brothers. That's basically what I'm just trying to get across in this first 30
I think
seconds.
Next time that's what you should do. Be like, Brothers in Tech. I'm Alan. He's Brian. We're brothers. Let's go.
We're brothers. Let's go. Okay. All right. That's what I'm going to do next time.
We'll try it next time. Okay.
That's what it's going to be next time. Be prepared for that next time. That's the way I'm entering the show.
Okay. Well, I'm good. I mean, besides the lackluster introduction, I am super excited about this episode. As you know, I get incredibly excited about the BITS episode.
Yeah,
I do.
It's our chance to not only kind of get some ideas about things from each other. Sometimes it costs us some money because I end up normally buying something that somebody else mentions on
Very
here.
true. Very true.
And you know, Brian, it's no fun for just you and I to be the ones recommending and spending money here. Let's get another person in the mix. So
let's get someone else to make us spend more money. Good. That'd be great. Let's do that.
The goal. And so joining us for his final episode with us, he has done his tour of duty.
Wait, is it final because this is the last possible time you won't be on the show?
You know what? These last 3 episodes were so perfect. We're shutting the show down. We're done. We have nothing else to say.
Yeah. You said the same thing about Chad Austin.
I know we did. Yeah. We always say that with our guests on the fourth episode. We're done. We're done. We can't top this at all.
I'll be honest with you. With Chad, we had to do it again, right? I mean, we needed to improve after that. So we knew we could do better.
We have a lot of making up to do after that batch of episodes. Chad, we love you. We're joking. So Rob Dickerson's with us again. Rob Dickerson is with DeFeet, which is a cycling apparel company out of here in Western North Carolina, a lifelong cycling enthusiast, a lifelong technology enthusiast. I have known him since first or second grade, friends of the family. And so a lot of connections there. And we're glad to have you here again, Rob. Thanks for joining us for the Brothers in Tech Suggestions episode. Yeah. And then Brian, I didn't even mention like what we do, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, you pretty much didn't do anything, did you? Really? Except
I didn't really. I really just. I said basically totally just our name, and that's it. And
we're brothers. Yeah,
that's all I do.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to introduce yourself? Yeah. Tell us what you do. What do you do, Brian?
Well, other than the highlight of my life being your brother, I am I'm a professor of kinesiology at Pacific University, and
I knew that.
I am a visiting scholar at Synaptic, a technology company, a sensory training technology company, and most importantly, I fix everything that Alan screws up in our family in terms of technology. So I get all the calls of things that he's messed up, and my mom feels so bad she continues to let him try. And so I come in and fix those things. So that's my main job.
That is all accurate, Brian. So congratulations. Good job on that. And then,
Would you like to talk about yourself? And now that
just quickly for a moment, nothing too long. So,
God, here we go.
So I have a firm, a creative firm in town, here, Jackson Creative, and we produce video productions, we produce websites, social media campaigns, and podcasts. Mm-hmm. Lo and behold, like with the one we were listening to right now. So, I'm producing some online shows and programs, and then also, in my other free time, I have a survey research company to do employee, customer, and community-based research surveys. And then in the last chunk of free time, I run a film society and a film festival here in our area. So
blah, 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 blah. How much do you do? Good Lord. All right.
Actually, yeah, none of that's real. I just say that because it sounds cool, but really, all I do is I prep for this show, Brian, because this is my whole life, is this whole show.
Well,
I've been working all week researching for this Brothers in Tech Suggestion episode. I'm so excited about it. So, yeah,
if the way that you handle this podcast is called prep, then I think we're really in trouble.
There was prep.
Believe it or not, there was supposed to be prep, and we'll see how well all three of us did here in a minute. And that's because, as we mentioned, this is our Brothers in Tech Suggestions episode. We do this every few weeks and have our suggestions recap. So each of us are bringing one thing to recommend to the table. Yes. We do not know what each other are recommending. So each of us will get to go recommend our technology device, gadget, website, app, book, whatever it may be, and the others can ask questions, and then we'll move along and see who brings out the best recommendation for the episode. That's kind of fun to check out too.
Yep.
All right, so with that, do I have any volunteers on who's going to go first? Anybody want to go first?
I'll go first.
Oh, Brian's
I'll go first.
Okay, yeah, Brian.
Yeah,
please go first.
Okay, so usually our Brothers in Tech Suggestions do cost you money. Right. And we usually kind of laugh a little bit about how much some of these things will cost. Well, guess what? This one is actually going to save you money. Right. It is not going to cost you a dime to do this. However, well, I shouldn't say that. For you two, it would cost you a lot of money because you'd have to move. So it actually it's not a service that doesn't work in your area. But for those that are on my side of the country and maybe in bigger cities, this is going to be something. So I am going to actually, I'm going to recommend Amazon Key, which Alan, you and I have talked about before, which I now do as of recently. And so for those who don't know, Amazon Key is the service that lets Amazon open your garage door and put your packages inside your garage. So they have access to a one-time access to code to be able to open up your garage door. And they will set your boxes in there rather than putting them on your front porch, which if any of you live in a highly congested area, know that getting packages stolen off your front porch is a thing. It tends to happen. So Amazon Key. Now, the reason I say it's going to save you money is because if you do live in a location that allows this, and you can go on, let's see, how did I get to that website? Well, I just typed in Amazon Key in Google, went to their page. You can actually click whether or not you can put in your zip code, see whether or not they're supported. But so I started this. We just had our first delivery while we were out of town camping the last 3 nights, and it worked flawlessly. It was great. The reason I say it saves you money is because when you sign up for it, if you have the availability, they'll give you $40 off your first delivery. So I immediately had some things in my queue already. It was about $46 of stuff, and I paid $6, and they delivered it. So what's really nice about this is that, so for one, you have to have a Wi-Fi enabled garage door system.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
Obviously, right? So they're not going to manually open up your garage door and close it. That's beyond the purpose. What's great about it is that if you do have that, you set it up through that service. So I have mine, the MyQ I think, Alan, you have that one as well, right? I have the garage door
recommendation months ago, I believe.
Yeah, yes. Chamberlain is Chamberlain the company? Is that right?
Yeah, so Chamberlain, it's Chamberlain's the MyQ line of garage door openers. Yeah.
Right. So we have a Chamberlain MyQ, an actual garage door opener. I think you have the add-on, right? That actually turns yours into a
right. So MyQ is either have a true the actual garage door opener is Wi-Fi controlled, or you can have a device you mount near your garage door opener that basically emits the same signal that a remote device would. It's just you're doing that through Wi-Fi, so it works the same way in theory.
Yep. So once you have that, you can go into the MyQ app and say, I'm setting up, key, Amazon Key. You're giving it permission, right? And then at that point, you'll get notification, just like you do with Amazon, that says, hey, your package has been delivered. You get it on your phone. Mine now said your package has been delivered in your garage door. And you can actually see a picture that they'll take a picture after they set it down that here it is in your garage. And then, of course, I'm getting a notification that my garage door has been closed as well. So it worked great, right? It was right there inside the garage door when we got home, which means that it's safe, a little less opportunity for it to be stolen. Now, a couple of things I'll mention. One, I was nervous about this because, again, who's to say that same as Amazon person doesn't have access later on to be able to come, and they do. They put it very clearly on the website. There are specific background checks that have to be run on these individuals who are going to have access to this. It's a one-time code that they get. So that the code they receive actually opens a door, but that's all. They can only do it once, open and close. And, if you want, this is where you can spend money. You can actually buy the camera that goes along with the MyQ system to put in your garage. So, of course, you're getting verification. But they will take a picture, just like they do with a lot of the deliveries, to say, here we go. I'm probably, for the next little bit, I do have a camera outside my garage door for our driveway. So I'll be keeping that there just to verify that they are coming in and leaving and all of that. But for me, it's great. I know there's other ways of doing this for those that don't have the service. You can buy like a trunk or chest that they get access to put it in on your, on your front porch so that it can be protected. But I was pretty excited to try this out. And plus, getting $40 off right away was kind of nice. So paying it to try.
Well, Brian, I do have to admit, I'm disappointed in your pick. Not because I don't think the service is good. I'm disappointed because this was the exact service that I got so excited about.
Yes.
When I put in my Wi-Fi garage door opener and I saw on the app as I'm going through it, it has Amazon Key. It works with that. And I went through the whole setup process and then got to the last step where it said, now we're going to check and make sure it's available in your area. Oh, we're sorry, it's not. And so that was the biggest disappointment for me. So it stings a little. Just a little, your recommendation.
That makes my recommendation even better that it stung for you. But I will say there's absolutely no reason why this won't be coming to your area.
Oh, I know.
There's no reason. It's just if Amazon's delivering to your area, there's no reason why they can't have it. I'm sure they're just piloting it. They're piloting it out in the big cities.
I know. We're biding our time. It's obviously, it's in the best interest of Amazon because if something is stolen off your front porch, they are typically having to be involved with that. That is costing Amazon money to help resolve that with you, the consumer. It's not good for their brand. It's not good for anything if stuff is getting stolen. So what's the safest way to deliver a package is to deliver it into a part of somebody's house that nobody can get to. And the garage is the most logical way to do it. So it makes perfect sense. That's the reason I was so excited about it, because it does make sense. But,
well, and they could be waiting a little bit for very gun-friendly parts of the country, in case so they don't get shot going in the garage. But I will say one of the things to keep in mind if you decide to use this, and I didn't even think about it, you obviously, most of you have a door from your garage going into your house. So when we leave, we're starting to now lock that just in case, right? We have our baby, our Volkswagen van sits in the garage all the time, and I don't want a lot of eyes on it. I don't want eyes being able to see that there's a door that goes in there, or that there's a window to be able to access. So yeah, I'm gonna be cautious for the next couple months, and of course we get deliveries a lot, so we'll be able to test this out. But I think it's great, and as I said, I assume it's coming your way very soon. Very soon.
All these programs they roll out always start in the bigger metro areas, or especially up north a little sooner, but they eventually make their way here. So.
Yeah. And they're kind of more needed.
You guys get to be the guinea pigs. You guys are the guinea pigs for a while, and then we'll get it once it's a rock solid service.
Yeah. Well, they're more needed, I think, often. Quite honestly, I think they're more needed in your part where there might be more people spaced out, because then it's a lot easier to go and steal something off of someone's porch, right? So
it would be. Yeah. It would be much easier to go do that in our part of the country here. So, okay, great. So there you go. That's the Amazon Key service. Again, only available in some areas across the United States. You will have to check and see if it's available to you. But I think it's a great service, great tool, great use of technology. So,
yeah. And since we have listeners all across the country and the world, really, but all across the country, I know some people would be into that. So.
That's good.
So, by the way, I'm down for minus $40 on mine.
You did
just compared to you guys. Okay, so
saved us $40. Very nice. To those it can apply to. Let's keep that in mind. It's not everybody. Rob, do you care? Do you want to go next, or do you want me to go next? I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I can. It's up to you. I'm good, but either way.
So, Alan, are you going to stink at the end here? That's the thing. Do we want to end with a good one? All right.
All right. Look, I'm gonna.
Are you going to do like a fax service or something again? Because you did that one before, and I don't want to end on that one.
Did you say fax?
Yes. Yeah, that was his technology. Technology pick was a faxing service. So
I had my reasons.
You can see we're digging deep. We're digging deep here, Rob. Okay. All right, Alan.
Let me go ahead and go next then, and Rob, you can close us out then.
Just in case.
Because I'm becoming less and less confident that my pick is going to do anything interesting at the end. Okay.
Oh, I love it.
Actually, as I start to describe this, it's going to sound really, really pretty weak. It's going to sound very much like a fax service.
Surprise!
This is it's a weather app.
Oh my
I do
God, they make those?
Yeah, they do. This is this is tying into our conversation about all the outdoor activities you could be doing with camping, with outdoor gardening and all that stuff. So, and there's a little bit of an interesting story with this too. So are you guys familiar with the Dark Sky weather app?
Yes.
Okay, probably so. I was not until a couple months ago, and I think the reason I got knowledgeable about it is because of the situation it finds itself in now. So Dark Sky is a weather app that's been around for a little while. It's very beloved by a lot of people. And lo and behold, Apple bought it just recently, I think in the last year, and bought it. So right now, if you were to go to the App Store and download Dark Sky, it's still up there. But you'll see the actual manufacturer or the developer of it is Apple. Now, there's a reason Apple bought it, obviously. Apple did announce that they're going to be upgrading the weather app in the upcoming iOS 15 that comes out, with supposedly some of the features that they're, quote, borrowing from the Dark Sky app. And the Dark Sky app by itself right now as a standalone app is only going to be available till the end of 2022. So a year and a half. Okay. At that point, supposedly they're taking it off the App Store, and all of the features or some of the features will be built into Apple's weather app. However, the reason I'm making this my pick is because Apple does have a history of buying these great software products or apps and incorporating some of the features into it, but not everything that people liked. So I'm afraid that's probably going to be the case with Dark Sky, is that we're probably going to get some nice features in the weather app on the iOS, but it may not be everything that we're seeing. So I'm still saying this is still a good app for the next 18 months to try to get and have. And two as well, just, I think it's a really good app. I've been really impressed with it. I didn't think I'd be impressed with a weather app, but the thing that probably got me the most excited about this app is I do a lot of filming. I go out and shoot video, and I go out and shoot photos. And to me, hour to hour weather and knowing what everything looks like outside is pretty critical. Like, for example, I know tomorrow morning I have a 9 a.m. shoot outside, and it has to be an outside shoot. And so I always get concerned about weather. yes, weather apps can give you hour by hour kind of predictions of what they're expecting. But what I really love about the Dark Sky app is it's very, very detailed. You can get a lot of great information on an hour by hour basis. You can look at wind gust. You can look at probability of precipitation. You can look at humidity on an hour to hour basis, which is amazing. Dew point, UV index, so many things you can see hour to hour. You also have map features, so I can click on the map very easily and see a lot of that same information as I move around the map, which is not something like the built-in weather app will do on iOS right now. My favorite, though, is the notifications. Mm-hmm. To me, I want to be notified like if precipitation is going to be happening in the next hour. I just want to be pinged. It's like, yes, it's going to start raining here in the next little bit. I need to know that. I've got big, expensive cameras outside. I've got things I got to lug around outside. I want to know if I need to bring an umbrella or not, or if I need to not even plan on the shoot and reschedule it. So I can actually set a notification to say, give me next hour precipitation updates if something is starting to happen at my location. I can have it send me an umbrella reminder saying that whenever the day you're going into has got a 20% or more chance of precipitation, it's going to notify me first thing in the morning at whatever time I set and say, yeah, you're probably going to need an umbrella today. These are the kind of things I need to know, and I want to know as quickly and as easily as possible. There's a sunscreen reminder on it. So you can say if the UV index rises above 9 or planning to during the day, to go ahead and notify me first thing in the morning to bring sunscreen or go ahead and apply it before I leave. That's just, to me, great. Perfect. And you can even add some custom notifications as well, which I haven't even really played around with, but anything that Dark Sky is tracking, you can set some notifications around. So to me, this is what a really good weather app ought to be, is not only giving me a view of the information, but I need to be able to be notified of things. Yeah. But the last feature I'm going to mention on this, and I'm guessing you guys have seen this or played around with it, is the time machine feature on it. Have you guys seen that? Mm-hmm. Okay. So to me, this is the coolest part of it. This is maybe worth getting the app on its own, is that you can explore weather in the past or future using their version of Time Machine on this app. So if I said I wanted to go back and see what the weather was on December 31st, 1999, before we hit 2000, I can actually go and scroll to that date and time, and it shows me hour to hour what the weather was like on that day. Now, the whole going to the future, a little more questionable, but it is showing you based on trends, seasonal trends, what you can predict maybe a day in the future will look like. Now, obviously, that is just purely based on historical trends. It's not saying that it can predict the weather accurately. But if you just want to get an idea of, hey, look, on mid-April, what's typically the weather look like in this area where I live? You know, if I just want to get an idea of what maybe some temperature ranges are, what some chance of precipitation, it can show me that. So I'm recommending this for the next 18 months because I think it's a really great app. It's probably the best weather app I've used. I do encourage people to get it in the next 18 months. I think it's $3 or $4 to buy. I don't remember purchasing it like recently. I think maybe I purchased it a long time ago and just actually downloaded it for the first time to use recently. And I do think some of these features are going to make their way into the iOS version, but I'm not counting on all of these cool features being in there, unfortunately. So I'm kind of recommending it as a look, use it for the next 18 months and enjoy it. And I don't know how long we're going to have some of these features afterwards. So anyway.
So cool. If I'm hearing this right, then you're kind of like Rain Man.
Yes.
And in so many ways. Yeah.
And then
yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm.
This
is a dad joke.
Yeah.
That was good. That was actually good. That was good for both of you. Everybody was good.
Yeah.
Well, I would say I've used Dark Sky, Alan, and I agree.
Yeah.
It's really good. The Watch app is good. It also provides
widget. It has a nice widget you
Yes.
can put on your iOS screen, your widget screens there. So no, it's just great. It's everything you would need from a weather app. If you just need something simple to look at and say, what's the weather like today, high and low? Yeah, it shows you that. I want to see what hour it might start raining. You can see that. But the fact that you can go so much deeper with so many other cool features is just great.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. And I will say, not to plug something else, but have any of you used Carrot as well? Carrot Weather? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're someone who really likes weather, but you also really like to be insulted every once in a while, the Carrot Weather app actually will give you the weather in kind of some crude ways, which is really helpful. So, you can basically, when you install that app, of course, you have to pay quite a bit for it. But if you install that one, it immediately asks you, what kind of personality do you have? Professional or really, really snarky? Mm-hmm. And if you put really, really snarky, it will give you lots of very creative ways to give you the weather. So
I just never got into that idea. I don't mind having a tech program or service be snarky with me, but I don't really need it from my weather app. I just kind of feel like that's
what else do you need it for? I mean, come on. I want to hear it every day. I mean, if I want to hear like, you idiot, grab a rain jacket, that's the way I want to hear my weather, right?
I already have so many people in my life that throw insults at me, including on this very program here. I don't need it from my weather app also.
Oh, okay. I thought you enjoyed it. So, all right. All right. Well, and that wasn't horrible. That wasn't a fax machine or anything. So that was all right. That was useful. Useful.
I think I did okay with that one. So I think it's pretty good. All right. Well, it's time for our guests to give their pick. Rob, bring us home.
Bring it home, Rob.
What do you want to recommend to us and the listeners tonight?
Well, I have this new fax machine. No,
I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
Well, that's great because I've got a fax service that can go right along with it.
Fix that. Yeah. Actually had an early career selling.
I was going to say, I know you used to sell the copiers and faxes. That was your thing.
Yeah. And, when you start in that business, at least in the late 90s, early 2000s, the first thing they used to make you do is go out and sell fax machines almost door to door. That's like the way to just weed you out in a hurry, So, yeah.
Rob, I think Alan just faxed both of us a middle finger. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you. Yeah, I don't think he's very happy about us bringing.
Oh, that's up. What that is. It stopped only halfway up on mine.
Right.
Oh yes.
So I've got one. This is kind of a carryover from our episode the other week about camping, and this is a thing that it's kind of cool. It is kind of expensive.
Okay.
But gosh, it's become this fun thing to have in the truck.
Okay.
So, and you can put this in different places, and you can remove it. It's a little heavy, but it's a refrigerator. Mm-hmm. And I know you're going to go, what? A refrigerator? I'm not carrying around a refrigerator.
Actually, tell me.
Alan's excited about camping again. Here we go.
I know. You can take refrigerators with you? Okay, that's new. All right.
So we've all seen like the kind of the cool coolers, I call them, the Yeti and all these, and they're wonderful. And they'll keep a bag of ice cold for, days and everything. But they're still using ice, and it, if they turn over, they spill, there's all these different things. And, but there are a couple of companies, and the one I bought is, called ARB. And they have a fridge called the Zero, fridge freezer, and they have it in lots of different sizes. I think from like a 35 quart up to like 150 quart. I have the 47 quart size. It's around $1,000. So it's a little expensive, but
minus the $40 I saved you. So that's really only $960.
Yeah, you get it delivered to your garage by Amazon. It's only $960.
Go ahead and order like sandwich meat to go inside.
Right.
But what's so cool about it is that you can plug it up to. It has a cord for a wall out.
What's so cool about it? Yeah. Okay, sorry.
It you can plug it up to an outlet in the house. You can plug it up in the car to a cigarette lighter, or they have their own kind of special plug that you can have wired into a vehicle.
Right.
But what's neat is that going down the road, we have it in the back seat. In one part of the back seat of the truck. It lets us have cold drinks. We put all of our camping stuff in there. But what's funny is what's happened is that we go somewhere to like a cool brewery, and we visit the brewery. We have go to the food truck or whatever's there, have some drinks, but then we take some to go. It's already cold. And what I always was frustrated with is you buy beer at a brewery cold to put in a hot car and drive an hour and a half home. I always worried that you're skunking the beer, so to speak. And so this is cool. A lot of times we kind of joke, hey, I'll just go put that in the fridge. And, and it's cool. You can control the temperature from 0 to around 50 degrees. You can control it. It has a little Bluetooth app for your phone. So you can see everything. It has a
wait. You can see everything. What do you mean by that? Like see the temperature and
see the temperature. Yeah. Sorry.
You don't have a video camera in there. Okay.
No, that's next.
$1,000 maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe my Q will make that next, but, it's really, and of course it also acts as a place to plug a charger up. And so, and this company has made a battery pack that also can be charged and attached to it that can run it independently of a vehicle or anything. So you could actually take it to the picnic or to the work, wherever. And, you think about, all the different applications, a lot of times just going to the grocery store or the farmer's market or something, and you had something you wanted to keep cool, maybe for a longer period of time than normal. It's just, it's really, we found a lot of uses for it. It is, a big expense, but honestly, I use it weekly.
Well, I was going to say for your purposes, I mean, Rob, as much as you're out and, not only outdoors and the cycling and all that, but then like you said, the food thing, I mean, it's a huge frustration of mine whenever we have to go buy something at a store and it's like, well, we have to go ahead and plan out the next hour or two because we can't go anywhere else we want to go. We got to get that home to get it in the fridge. To have that flexibility, I mean, it's pricey, but you start to rack that up. You're using it every week. It starts to eventually make use of itself and pay for itself at that time. So that's great. So with the Bluetooth app, can you control the temperature from that, or is that just for monitoring to see what the temperature is?
Yes, you can control the temperature. Okay. You can control the battery safeguard, the safety level of when it will shut off due to low voltage because it doesn't want to over drain your car battery.
Right. That was going to be my next question is about, if you were hooking it up to your car cigarette lighter outlet there, is there any kind of notification or way to ensure that it doesn't just drain your car down, or does it stop at a certain point or notify you?
Yes. When you first get it and set up the app, it is set to the highest safety level. So I think it will turn itself off at 12.6 volts or whatever, and that's as low. You can take it to where it'll drop it as low as 12 volts, but that's considered the most lenient form of battery protection. The whole thing being that some vehicles require exactly 12 volts or higher in order to start. I think having the battery pack for this would be really cool as a way that to kind of, if you were in a vehicle that didn't have any type of solar, we have solar because of the camper. So we're charging the battery from solar and therefore can run this pretty much all day without any issue. But yeah, if you didn't have that, I think having that little battery pack would be really cool to have and plug it in. So
nice.
Oh, and it's magnetic. It sticks to the side, which I thought was kind of cool. The battery pack, this kind of a long flat
to the side of the fridge. It kind of becomes part of it in a way.
Yeah.
No, I saw the fridge in your vehicle when you were by here the other day, and it's impressive. And again, it's something where when you on first thought you think, oh, don't know how much I'd use that, but the more I think about it, I'm like, no, I actually feel like I'd probably use it all the time. It sounds like you're using it on a weekly basis at least. So.
I take my lunch to work and throw it in my fridge and leave it there until I go to get it out and eat. It's great.
That's so great. No, it's really. I think it's awesome. I think it's great, and again, expensive, but I think pays for itself over time if you're an avid user of it, and especially if you're out a lot outdoors, and having that convenience there is great. I mean, how many times have I had to pull over at convenience stores, on trips just to get a drink, that was cold when, for me, kids or wife, and, pay a lot more for drinks we're having to buy somewhere else. And instead we could just have taken some of the ones we had ourselves and drank from that. It just makes good sense over time. It really does.
This brand was ARB, but there's another brand that's pretty well known. I think it's European. I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly what country they're from, but it's called Dometic, and they make a lot of stuff for like campers and stuff. They make sinks and cooktops and all kinds of crazy stuff. But they have a line. I think there's a CXF or whatever. But they actually have partnered with some automotive companies where they're integrating them into center consoles. So I know on the new Ford F-150, you can get their like little 4, drink cooler for the center armrest, built in.
That's nice.
Kind of cool. Yeah. And I think there's maybe a Hyundai minivan or Toyota. I don't remember who it was, but they've added one. So, I think you'll see some of this kind of technology enter the car because it is really convenient. And if the car has it built in, then it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Kind of fun.
Yeah. That's great.
So, Alan, I want to kind of piggyback on that just a little bit and pull out one thing that he mentioned that is really important. And when we think about camping, at any time that you have a cooler, and Rob mentioned before, there's lots of great coolers out there that can keep your stuff cool for a while. But one of the biggest flaws about a cooler is that every time you open it, you're losing some of your cool, right? So the fact of being able to see the temperature of what's in your cooler without having to open it is really a very important thing. So we started doing that with our camper van. And of course, we have an old camper van that has the fridge built in, that's a propane battery or electric. So depending on what you switch it, but the worst design in the world, this was an old VW. In order to switch what type of electricity you're using, you have to open the fridge. So you open the fridge to go in and click and do different things. And of course you let out all of the cool that was in there. And by that point, you're trying to restart your propane and all of this. So what we did, just a very low-tech way of doing this, is we bought a little weather station, one of those remote weather stations, put the little weather station in the fridge, have it up there in the front of our car so that we can always see if for some reason, because we have no idea whether our propane goes out, whether the fridge stops, right? You could do that same thing with a cooler, put a little weather station in your cooler so that at least you can look and go, oh, actually things are getting really warm. It's time to go get ice, rather than opening it to see if it's really warm and losing that last bit of cool that you might have. So I love the idea of the Bluetooth connection, being able to see what's inside, what's happening. So that's cool.
All right. So our picks kind of ran the gamut. We went from $1,000 or roundabout to $4 to actually possibly saving
minus $40.
So the nice range of people who want to spend or save money, we got options for them on this episode for sure. But cool. I like the fact that they're all three were pretty different. And one's a service, one's an app, and one's a device, a piece of equipment. So very, very cool.
And I'm very disappointed we didn't get a pick of a pink set of headphones that we've been looking at with Rob here. He's donning those pink headphones again. If you listen to the last episode, he brought them back. So he was not afraid whatsoever of donning those headphones.
And only because, Rob, you're about to leave us here, and you've done your tour, you've done your line of episodes. Your thoughts on the AirPod Max?
Yeah,
AirPod Max that you're wearing. Just your general thoughts on it. Is it worth Is it worth it?
I don't know if it's worth the spend. I would say from a comfort standpoint, they're one of the most comfortable, kind of surround ear headsets I've ever had on. The sound is pretty amazing. This transparency feature, which we mentioned the first time I wore them, is pretty incredible to be able to kind of hear yourself, but also hear you not have a lot of background noise coming through. It's great. They are a bit. I'm not the biggest headed person. Don't laugh. But they're snug. So I will say this, that, wearing them for any length of time is noticeable, like on your jawbone and stuff. So I think my wife has never complained. They are hers. I would potentially buy them in pink as well. but these are hers, and she has a smaller head. So,
right.
Do they only come in one size?
Noticed,
Are they only one size?
I think
size?
so.
Okay.
Yeah, that they telescope at the kind of the top for the headpiece, but the actual width of them, I guess you would say, is just a singular size. You can kind of relieve some of the pressure by extending them and making them push out a little bit more, but they're pretty snug.
Yeah.
They're not going to fall off your head. They have a lot of neat features built into them too, which that you kind of control from the buttons and stuff. I'm impressed. Would a pair of bows for half the price do just as well? Quite possibly. We all know that a lot of times with Apple products, which I love, they tend to be kind of over-designed, overbuilt. Yeah. These look like they've been, minted out of solid aluminum, and So.
Well, the integration that Apple puts into their own devices, how it integrates with your phone, your audio sources. I mean, that's to me what's worth the extra money. A lot of times, I do get concerned with Apple, like you said, kind of over designing sometimes and going more for style over function. And I think there have been some examples of that. But everything I've read, AirPods Max sound really great, and I'm in the market for a nice pair of over the ear studio type headphones I need for stuff. So I'm really curious. I want to go to the store and just kind of try them out a little bit and see how they fit and feel and all.
Yeah.
Too, so,
I've been very impressed with their battery life. Like an hour of use, like for a podcast or something, only seems to use 2 or 3% of the battery.
Oh, wow.
Which compared to in the past, I've used the
AirPods,
the original AirPods, and they won't last an hour sometimes.
Yep.
So, I've been
the
very
real estate,
impressed.
right? We got a lot of real estate to put batteries there, so that's kind of nice. So, Rob, can you tell me? We're obviously listening to you using the microphone on that headset. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay,
yeah.
And they sound great. They sound great.
Yeah.
All right. Is it Bluetooth only, or is there a way to also put a stereo cable into the headset?
So it doesn't appear. There is a USB-C, or what I guess they now call that a version of Lightning, but
for charging.
It appears to only be for charging. I don't believe it's any type of direct connection to like a 3.5. 3.5 millimeter adapter.
So it probably means you can wire it straight away, though, right? Using the mini, the Lightning
I think
port.
I've read that. I mean, it still costs a pretty penny to get their adapters, but they do sell. I think I remember reading that they did start selling an adapter to go in that USB-C port to convert it to cabled. But you got to get that special. I don't think you can just use a standard USB-C to audio cable adapter.
I wonder if it puts them in some type of passive mode. I know a lot of times,
that's what I'm thinking.
Like Bose will, theirs you can plug in the cable and then turn them off and actually use them in passive mode, which sometimes is better for certain situations. So I don't know if they offer anything like that. But overall, I'd say that they're really cool. One integral part, which is a little bit odd, it looks like a purse, is the case that they go in. And it's quite odd, but the case actually is part of the pairings process to like a computer or something. But from a mobile platform, they're very simple to connect to mobile. And you get a kind of an animated graphic, a lot like setting up a new iWatch or Apple Watch or a new Apple TV. So,
Well, the reason I ask about the cable is because I know they can support spatial audio, which is really nice to be able to hear. So can the AirPods Pros. But I know there's something about Bluetooth only having a certain amount of, bit rate that it can handle, to where there are certain, lossless, for example. I'm not sure you can get true lossless over Bluetooth. I'm not convinced that you can. I don't know if it can handle true lossless audio, but I think wired you certainly can. So
because I think Bluetooth, I forget what the protocol we're on now, not X, but whatever the low voltage Bluetooth. I think its packet rate is not substantial enough to support losses. And yeah.
So I would be disappointed if I shelled out that much money and couldn't plug in to still be able to get lossless or something like that, right? But spatial, you can get, obviously, watching a movie through your Apple TV, through your headphones, you can get the spatial, which is kind of cool.
And we tested it. We've got one of the brand new Apple TVs, and it's crazy. Yeah. I mean, you kind of have to look behind yourself. You feel like somebody just walked in. So yeah, it's kind of cool.
Very cool.
Well, thanks for that additional little
an additional bit. I like it. Extra bit.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks for the extra bit there, Rob. So
bonus bit.
It's just, we were sitting here watching you with these cool headphones for the last few weeks and decided to finally ask you about them. So yeah. All right. Well, that is our bits episode for this month, I guess. And Rob Dickerson, thank you so much for being a part of the show.
Enjoyed it, guys. Thanks,
Rob. Enjoyed having you around. Thanks for all your input, especially on the topics we covered. If you did miss them, if you just hearing this episode didn't hear previous ones, we talked about a lot of outdoor activities and using technology, such as camping was one episode. We did one on cycling, and we did an episode on a kind of outdoor yard care, lawn maintenance as well. So all three of those are available back in the feed if you want to go back and listen to some of those. Rob Dickerson is with DeFeet. That is a cycling apparel company here in Western North Carolina. DEFEET.com is the company he is with. And Rob, what is your exact title at DeFeet? Do you?
Well, I technically am over design and marketing, but you do a lot in a small company. We're only about 50 employees, so I do a lot.
So a jack of all trades, but mainly in the design and marketing area is kind of your baby there for sure.
Right.
So,
yeah.
That's great.
Getting ready to focus a little bit of effort on our B2B or wholesale sales channel. And we've hired a couple of people in our marketing department. So it gives me a little bit more space to go and do some other stuff. So getting ready to kind of go down that road. So.
Very cool. Well, they make some great products, some great apparel for cycling and other sports related activities. So great. Glad to have you here again, Rob, and take care. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Brian, if anybody else has a pick they want to share with us, or maybe a comment on any of the picks we made, how do they get a hold of us again?
Send us an email at info@themesh.tv, and we do not have a fax number anymore, although I'm sure Alan will help us with that in the future. But you can send us an email. We'll check that regularly, and hopefully you'll give us some good picks for future Bits episodes. So info@themesh.tv.
Perfect. All right. Well, this is Alan and Brian Jackson signing off. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Brothers in Tech, our Brothers in Tech Suggestions episode. We will look forward to talking to you next time with some more topics and discussion about your home, family, and personal tech. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.